And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode 101 of the Hansons on Hiatus podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast. Buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy some virtual beers.
We will drink them.
And they will be tasty. And also, hansonsonhiatus.com for the merch shop, all the links to the podcast. Also that buymeacoffee.com if you forget the URL. And you can be a monthly fucky supporter. You can be a little fucky for $1 a month. You can be a medium fucky for $5 a month, and be a big old fucky for $10 a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
We love all our fuckies.
Yeah, so if you're enjoying the stories and the information and following the podcast, we appreciate any support you could be. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And especially thank you to Brandon R., who bought us 3 beers while I was at the old Super Bowl.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate it.
And Manny and Tom, who are big old fuckies.
Thank you, Manny and Tom. Yes.
On the Patreon and in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, bigger than life personalities.
They're both big old fuckies. We appreciate you guys' support. We do. That's awesome.
And like, follow, share, subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, YouTube Music at Hansons on Hiatus. And
we're there.
And we are there. We're there. We're all over the place.
We're all over.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. Happy Valentine's Day. That's today.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, it's not weird, but it's cool. It's on a Friday.
Yeah. Thankfully.
So it makes it easier for people that,
celebrate.
Yeah. That want to go out to dinner or whatever. And then you don't have to worry about, getting up early the next day typically.
Yeah. Usually I feel like it's on like a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. It's always kind of like anticlimactic. Yeah, definitely. So I am back from the Super Bowl.
You are back. You are here in the studio.
Yes, I am. From New Orleans, and I got a ton of stories and things that have happened and notes that I've written over time, and so do you, of things that... Yeah.
Question.
What?
Did you figure out how to say New Orleans there? Did anyone help you say, you're saying it wrong?
I didn't really ask, but I was just saying... Now I don't know how I was saying it. New Orleans. New Orleans. And
did you hear other people saying it?
Yeah, well, nobody corrected me. So I feel like the
That's
things that I didn't know how to say was the sandwich. I say muffaletta.
Oh, I was like a po' boy?
But I've heard, that too. But no, I heard people say muffaletta or muffalita or something like that. I don't know. So I don't, but I heard like a waiter say it one way, and then a buddy that I had made that's born and raised there say it another way. Huh. I still don't know, and I kind of mumble my way through it, but that was the only thing that I really did have a problem with.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's spelled like muff. Eletta.
Yeah, isn't it like a muffin sandwich or something?
Yeah, basically. But people were saying moof, so I'm like, oh, maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Were they Spanish? Because here they say the U like that, like a poog instead of pug.
True.
They say poog, so maybe it's a moof.
I mean, that's a good point because New Orleans, I didn't realize all the different history there. I mean, obviously there's the French influence, there's the Cajun, the Creole or whatever. And then there's a lot of Spanish influence too. So it's like a lot of the streets were French names and Spanish names.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
did you learn any French while you were there?
No.
Or did your Spanish help you?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see the different cultures mixed together. But so I'm going to kind of go down through some of my notes. I have a lot of stuff. It's going to go over the course of the next 2 episodes probably. Normally I go in like kind of chronological order, but I think this time I'm going to cover the Super Bowl stuff first, from practice, like rehearsals to, before and after the big game and what happened and everything. And then I'll cover just kind of like the day-to-day New Orleans stuff that I interacted with next, because I'm sure everybody's still kind of talking about the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
and usually when I do it and it's like maybe a week or 2 out, then you're like, okay, we're kind of done with that. It's been a while. We already know.
True. Yeah. I think people have I got a lot of Super Bowl questions on your behalf, so I tried my best to fill them in and what you're doing and how you're doing it, but this will be perfect.
Oh, very nice. All right. Well, these were our first couple things, just not technically Super Bowl stuff, but just kind of Super Bowl-esque. Yeah. But I found it very interesting when I was telling people I was going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Everybody told me to be safe, which
they did like a lot of people.
Yeah, which is weird because like we've been to we live in Mexico and we've been to Egypt and different places that you might think are kind of
still tell us to be safe there.
Yeah, but I got it a lot going to New Orleans, and it's like any big city. It's an awesome city, really good food, culture. The people are super nice. There's tons of music and everything. But like any big city, you know, I mean, I was staying downtown, so it has its like riffraff around
you gotta
everything.
watch. You gotta be aware of your surroundings anywhere now.
Yeah. So first day of rehearsals, I was meeting one friend there, my friend Angie, who I've done the last 2 Super Bowls with. Some of
Yeah.
our other friends didn't make it, just the price or the coming from the West Coast and everything, and they just couldn't swing it. But so I'm in line for the first rehearsal. And we get in line, you got to check in, they check your ID and everything, and then they give you some credentials so you can get in and out of the building because, you know, NFL is super locked down.
Yeah.
And I smell like the strongest weed I've ever smelled. These 2 dudes in line behind me, and I'm like, oh, these dumb motherfuckers they're going to get kicked out the first day.
Yeah, just for smelling like weed.
Yeah, just for smelling like weed. And so I was like, oh, man, like they're in for it. This whole city smells like weed, like the best weed I've ever smelled, and it is not legal there. It's only medical. Yeah, it's like Florida, like where you need a medical card. But everybody like the homeless dudes are just rolling joints on the street, and
like, hey, bro,
and there's like a cop right by them. Like nobody cares. They're like, we got bigger things to worry about.
It's kind of like when we went to Dallas. Not that they don't care there, but we smelled tons of weed there, and it is not legal there at all.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
medical
exactly.
or recreational.
Totally. So first practice, I get in, and before I meet up with my friend Angie, who got me on the same cart as her. So a cart is basically a part of the stage that that we like, you know, bring together and hook up and, you know, make it into the big stage.
So you have like cart 1, cart 2,
right,
you know, up to whatever, and then you guys are cart 1 or
yeah. Well, and each cart, like I was on. So if you were looking at, you know, if you saw the halftime show, the circular stage, the circle button, basically, we were the front part of that circle. So I was like very like right up front, you know, camera front, basically.
We looked for you like in between the commercials. We were trying to see you, and you guys are all wearing black, of course.
Yeah, so
like,
it's hard.
So we're like, is that Nate? Is that Nate?
Yeah. So she got us on the same cart, but this guy in the cart next to us, I meet him, and dude, like straight up, he's from New Orleans, but lives in Mississippi. Straight Southern black dude, gold teeth, the nicest guy. Like we're bros now. We're friends on Facebook. But I was like, oh, what's your name? Kendrick Lamar.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Was it the Kendrick Lamar?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I did buy weed off Kendrick Lamar, and I can say that now without lying.
You can say that honestly.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Well, to be fair, he has like a hyphenated name. His name is Lamar Hubbard, but his driver's license literally says Kendrick Lamar Hubbard.
Oh my gosh!
And he told me, he's like, man, I've never had so many people say my name over the course of 2 weeks in my whole life. He's like, Kendrick Lamar. I was like, what do you want?
What?
So I asked him if I can, you know, buy some stuff or whatever, because he was talking about smoking.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. He brings it to practice the next day, like through security and everything.
Holy shit.
And hands it off to me in the Super Bowl stadium bathroom.
No.
So I'm doing deals like on the Super Bowl, you know, or not on the field, but like in the stadium. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I'd be like, no. I don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah. And I'll get to this later, but also before we were leaving, it was last day, and he was like, hey man, I got a going away gift for you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. What's up? And so he's like, you know, I'll see you at, you know, game day in the stadium. While we were like waiting to go on the field, he hands me off a little bag of weed.
Oh no.
So while I was putting the stage together on the halftime show, I had a bag of weed in my pocket, and I was freaking out.
That's probably honestly the least of their concerns.
Yeah.
They were like,
Totally. Yeah.
Obviously you're not smoking in here. I don't know.
No.
But you know, just carry on.
Yeah.
Just do your job, and that's all we care about.
I was super like, oh my God, what am I doing right now? One of the other observations I made is, so when do you know about the Super Bowl? I mean, it's like years in advance, right? Because we know the next 3-ish Super Bowls.
Yeah, usually a year or so in advance. And with every Super Bowl end, you look at, oh, where's next year? Oh, look at the following year, you know, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Usually you look.
So and this isn't just New Orleans. I've noticed this in every single city that I've done the Super Bowl in, which is 4. They don't wait to fix things until like we get there 2 weeks in advance, right?
Yeah.
So they're fixing things like the week we get there. I'm like, bitch, did you not know this was coming? Like the street that I was staying on has like construction going on. There's construction dudes out there repaving like the roads. If you're familiar with New Orleans, the canal street that runs down like like it's a big road, but down the middle is where like the trolleys run down,
Yeah.
like in between the lanes. The trolleys were shut down. They were like redoing the trolley lines and stuff,
my God.
and they did all this shit in like a week. The city hall that's right across from the stadium.
Yeah.
2 of the letters were burnt out in city.
Oh.
3 days before the Super Bowl, they're fixing those lights.
Oh
I'm like,
my
did you not think this was
God.
important to do ahead of time? I mean,
Remember Atlanta was doing the same thing. They ripped the whole airport apart. I think it's still under construction because like they didn't finish it before the Super Bowl, I
Right.
don't think.
Well,
but the whole city was a mess.
yeah, well, they finished everything, but I mean, that's just goes to show you that they can finish it quickly in
Yeah.
construction if they have, you know, an
Oh my
incentive or a date.
Maybe it's kind of like when money gets, 1 year to the next because the Super Bowl, it's like 2024, but we're really doing it in 2025. So maybe they have to wait till funds get released for the next year, or they're
Yeah,
like, oh, go, we got all our money now.
I could see that, or you know, because it's usually in early February, so yeah, maybe the budget doesn't get approved, but you think they would do some special thing like, hey, let's have all this shit done like 6 months in advance so
Yeah.
we can just put up decorations or whatever, But it's wild how much they do for a city, and just to see a city go from like normal, since we're there so far ahead of time,
Yeah.
you can. It's kind of like here where you see the different tourists start to come, like,
yeah,
oh,
the
it's
different
Canadian
groups.
Christmas or
Yeah.
whatever, or it's like a holiday in Spain, so you
Yep.
can see all the Spanish people coming in. It's the same thing. Like that early in the week, you're like, all right, so you can tell the celebrities are coming in because. Most people that are going to the Super Bowl aren't getting there on Monday. They're getting there on like Thursday, Friday,
Right.
To spend the weekend. But you can kind of see the uptick in traffic and the
Yeah.
change of, people coming into the city.
All
So
the people. That's
yeah,
so
it's
funny.
interesting. So one of the things I do there is there's an event called opening night. It's Super Bowl opening night, and it's
Oh, yeah.
basically it's kind of I picture or I explain it as it's a family friendly event for families that cannot afford to go to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
It's usually like $10-20 to get in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you go and you sit in the stadium in the lower bowl where
Yeah.
the seats would be 10 grand, and the 2 teams come in. Well, they come in one at a time. So the Eagles came in first.
Mm-hmm.
They get them up on stage, they introduce them, they talk to the coach a little bit, and then they have all these booths all around the stadium or all around the field,
Yeah.
and there's just swarms of media people around them.
Oh.
And there's a clock on the big scoreboard, and it says 60 minutes, and they have each person up there and what booth they're in, and there's an app you can download, and you
Oh.
click on whatever, like Mahomes was like, let's say at booth 30 or something.
Yeah.
So you click into 30, and then you can hear him answering the media's questions
Oh,
for each
wow.
one. So it's cool because like the
Like in
kids,
real time.
yeah, so there's a lot of families there, and the kids can get there and see their play. I mean, if you saw my posts on Instagram,
Yeah.
like they can see the players that they love up close, and they're screaming for him. They're like, Mahomes, they're screaming for him, and they're like, hey, what's up? Like, and they'll wave at him, and
That's
then
so cute.
and then the cheerleaders come out, and they usually like last year they did like Blue Man Group, and they had like some kind of entertainment. This year it was just like these like marching bands, which
Oh,
which
okay.
was still cool, but.
Yeah.
It was a little lackluster, that I would say from the previous year. But.
Probably like local New Orleans bands.
Right,
that
and they're really
like, giving 'em
famous
a
for
shot.
these bands. Oh, that was another thing that was weird. So this band, I would have called it St. Augustine,
Oh.
like it was the St. Augustine band.
Yeah.
But the announcer pronounced it St. Augustine,
Augustine.
like Augusta,
Okay.
and I was like, okay, I guess I can see that because Augusta is that is the first part of the word. But I've always like in Florida, you call it St. Augustine. It's
Yeah.
not St. Augustine,
Augustine.
or are we pronouncing it wrong? I don't know.
I've never heard anyone say anything but Augustine. So
Yeah.
maybe, but we do say Augusta in Georgia. So maybe it's kind of like a little Southern Frenchy twang.
Yeah, maybe. But one night I'm out and I'm smoking behind this building where there was a porta potty. It was behind our hostel,
Oh, great.
and I'm back there and I'm just chiefing, and this homeless guy walks up and he's like, "Hey, sir." He's like, "I don't mean no harm. And he pulls up his shirt like to show me, like, I guess that he doesn't have a pew pew in his pants,
Yeah.
or whatever. And I was like,
You're like, I don't care. Go
he's
away.
like, hey, he's like, is that bathroom working? And I I'm around the corner. I reach open the door, and he's like, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's open. It's working if you need to use the restroom. And he's like, man, I'm just trying to get some meat.
Oh.
And I was like, what? He's like, I'm just trying to get some meat.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm good. You can use the bathroom, man. It's totally cool, And mind you, I'm dressed like Chewbacca at this point. And
Chewbacca night.
maybe it was the Chewbacca outfit. Maybe it was the purse that I had.
Yes.
But the next night, I saw across the same street this shipping container, 3 homeless dudes pulling up their pants.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I didn't know I was staying on Meat Stick Alley.
I wouldn't have known what to say. I would have been like, I'm not looking for me.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
it
bye.
wasn't like a dark, scary area. I mean,
Yeah.
but there weren't people around. It was late, and so I was like, I need to get out of this situation. This homeless dude's trying to get my meat. So I'm like, stay away from my meat.
You want your meat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that was a little scary.
You're like, am I high or is this really happening?
I know. And dressed as Chewbacca.
Yes.
He's like, I like him hairy.
I would have been like, I appreciate the offer, but I just have too much costume on. It's not going to happen.
Yes, yeah, sorry.
So
I
sorry.
can't get out of this. But I wanted to explain a little bit how rehearsals work and the
yes.
team that I'm a part of. So I am on the field team. So there's lots of different organizations involved in, putting on the Super Bowl.
Of course.
And
It's probably like electric, field,
yeah,
all
so
sorts
like
of-
I'm on the field, like at least the 2 organizations that I kind of deal with. So I'm on the field team. There's also the cast team. So
Okay.
the cast team are the dancers that you will see out there.
The
And
guys in like the red, white, and blue jumpsuits. and
exactly. So working for the field team, we do get paid. We get paid whatever the minimum wage in whatever state it is.
everything. Gotcha.
We are not afforded lodging or airfare or anything like that.
It's all on you guys
it's
to purchase.
Basically. So what I do is I save up airline miles, so my
Yeah.
flight is free. And then we normally split a place.
Did you
So-
take Spirit this time?
Yeah, I took
Okay,
Spirit.
nice.
So it was like $60 and direct flight, 90 minutes, Cancun to New Orleans. I mean,
That's
it was
a great
great.
flight.
Yeah. So anybody that's ever asked me about or been curious to ask me about how this works and everything, anybody can do it technically. I'm already kind of grandfathered in because I've experienced. They obviously hire people that have done it before because you kind of
course.
know how it works.
Easier.
But anybody can do it with the idea though that you have to pay for your own lodging. You have to be able to take 2 weeks off of work or
Right.
work remotely
Right.
like I do. And you have to, pay for your airfare and everything like that. But they do feed you every rehearsal.
Ooh.
They cater. It's usually Panera. We had
Ugh.
Jimmy John's. We had Chick-fil-A.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's usually kind of like sub that. And we get like a box of,
Oh, nice.
like a
couple little things.
yeah, we get like with Jimmy John's. We got actually like a good sized sub,
Ooh.
chips. We get a cookie and then like unlimited water and stuff. And then depending on when our practices are, might get a snack in between if it's a long one or
Oh,
something.
nice.
Um,
I love that they feed you guys.
yeah,
That's
so
good.
that does help out. And then you can
Yeah.
also do extra things like there's other teams called Pix Mob.
Oh.
And Pix Mob, if you saw on the Super Bowl when it went to the crowd and it spelled out like game over
Oh,
or
yeah.
player up or whatever,
Yeah.
Pix Mob goes and puts a little like glow wristband thing on every fucking seat in that 50,000 seat stadium or however many seats.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and you get paid to do that. So some people will pick up extra
Ah.
shifts like that. So
Oh, so it's not like football fans that were sitting there and they're like, "Oh, I get a bracelet. I get to be in the Pix Mob." It's like actual dedicated people.
no,
for that.
like there's like a team of people that will
Oh.
put them there for the fan that have
Oh,
purchased
okay.
that seat. So those are all real fans, but I'm just saying that's another shift you can do to
Ah.
make money while you're there.
Do they tell the fans sitting there like, "Hey, so this time to this time you can't go to the bathroom. You need to be like ready to go with your wristband on." and
No,
light
no,
up."
that's why it's weird. Well, but it works out good because usually, I mean, people do go during halftime to go to the restroom and get
Yeah.
snacks and stuff, but usually people want to see the halftime show. So they
Yeah.
stay there. So if you saw it, the way it looked on halftime, it looked way better when we were practicing because nobody was gone because it was just taped to the
Sure.
seat, everything.
Could you imagine you went to the bathroom at that time and you're like, "Oh, I missed the whole halftime show and my light up bracelet. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I could have been in history."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, they get to keep those and it's all like remotely controlled and everything. So they can make all the lights happen and whatever.
Nice.
Let's see what else. There was less reoccurring people this year. And I think it was because what I said, it's the last few years have been on the West Coast.
Yeah.
This year, it was in New Orleans. It was really expensive. Like it
Yeah.
was like $4,000 for a hotel or
yeah.
Airbnb.
And you always look like a year out. Like
Right.
as soon as they say the Super Bowl is happening at that state, you like start looking at booking.
Exactly. And I stayed in a hostel this year, and I'll get to that next week. I got a lot of stories about that.
I was worried about that.
Yeah. So,
really
so
worried.
that really took a lot less, it didn't cost nearly as much, like a
Yeah.
fraction of that price. So I actually really lucked out. And I was 10 minutes from the stadium, so I could walk there every day.
That's great.
So the first day, so since there weren't many reoccurring people, there was a lot more locals there.
Oh.
Which was good and bad. Nothing against the locals, but the locals of the city that the Super Bowl is in usually aren't as into it because they didn't have to travel, they didn't have to pay their own way or anything. So they're not as like energetic about the situation. They're like, "Oh, I'm staying at home. I just got to go to practice and whatever.
True.
And oh, maybe I won't go today." Like they're just kind of wishy-washy about
You think
things.
you'd be pumped up like, oh, the Super Bowl's in my city. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be a part of it. Like when you did it in Atlanta and we lived there, we were like, yeah, Atlanta's the best. And you're so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, they are just very almost entitled. Like we had a couple of, like they always ask questions like, hey, at the beginning of each practice, they tell us hey guys, the NFL's asked us, hey, can you not lean against this wall when the show's going on because this is a supportive wall for these lights or whatever, or hey, make sure you don't, you can't talk to the artist unless they talk to you. So if you're just standing there, just if they come up to you and say, hey, what's up, man? Like, thanks for, doing the work you're doing, or which they all do. All the artists always do that. But so one guy asked a question and he's like, yeah, why are you guys so mean to us? I mean, telling us all these rules of what we can and can't do. And, like you guys need us more than we need you. And
they're like, number 12, get him out of here.
Yeah,
Get him out
right?
right now.
Yeah.
Get him out.
they just moved right on by it. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to answer that question. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
bitch, I was like, they don't need you. There's a million people in line right behind you that would love to do this over you, motherfucker.
Was he on your team? I would have been like, shut up, bro.
No, he was on some other team, but it's just so weird that people assume.
Weird.
And then I had a couple people, somebody on our team thought that we were the dancers, and they were all upset. I thought we were going to be up on stage with him, or they thought that they were going to be able to sit on the sideline for the rest of the game.
Oh.
I was like, there's 500 of us.
Yeah.
You think that there's enough room for us to all just sit there and watch the game? There's like, media and, all players and all this. Like, no,
I will say, like last year, was it Rihanna last year? Who was
Usher.
Usher, yeah. You got to go out and actually be on the field during the practice, like one of the concert goers.
Yeah.
They picked you as like the dance team, not dance team.
Yeah, so that's the other team I was talking about. That's the cast team.
Okay.
And they just happened to be like 20 people short, and they randomly picked me to be one of them. So that was a very rare occurrence.
Maybe
That's never
they
happened.
think like, oh, we see people down there and we assume that
Right.
those would be us. But this halftime show did not have a crowd down there. It was the dancers
Right.
only. It wasn't like a concert type of deal.
Exactly. And then just kind of let you know how the practices go. We practice, some of them were from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, long practices in the evening. Some of them like were 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Like they're long fucking days. And we practice not every day. So it's nice. We have like days in between where we're off.
Yeah.
So I can go and explore the city and everything like that.
Of course.
But then, the first week, maybe the first half of the first week, it's just us practicing, putting the stage together, rolling it out, snapping it all together, like cranking it up, putting in the electricity and everything, and then blowing it up. Because we have 6 to 7 minutes to get it on the field and put together and ready for the talent, and then 5 to 6 minutes to get it off.
That's what I tell everybody, and they're like, wait, what? I'm like, those commercial breaks, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're putting it together, they're taking it apart. And I think your videos, if anybody saw your stories on Instagram and your posts, but that's very helpful to see like your view of what you were doing, like pushing the cart and everything. Because I think people can't like understand that or conceptualize it, that all these little pieces go together to make one big stage.
Yeah, well, and most people don't go to the Super Bowl because it's expensive, and they don't show it on TV, so you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
but we're
it's
out there,
commercial and then stage.
Yeah, we're out there like busting our fucking ass.
Yeah.
So we do that for a couple days, and then we start adding in more parts of the show. So some practices we'll go in, we'll put it together, and then the dance team will come on and they'll do their routine a couple times and practice a few of the routines, and then we take it apart and then we put it again and then they do it again, and then we do that for a few days, and then we'll start adding in like pyro, and we'll start adding in different things, and they'll start doing camera angles where, okay, we got everybody up now. Oh, we need to change this angle. Oh, it'd look better if we're looking at Samuel L. Jackson from this angle, or looking at Kendrick from this angle or whatever.
The videography, I guess that's the word, of this Super Bowl, amazing. I watched it on our TV. It's not a big TV, like 32-inch or something. I felt like I was there. It was so good. And I like the last few years have been like that kind of first person, how they zoom in and then take like wider shots. This one, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm right there with Kendrick Lamar and all the dancers. Like, I get hyped up from that stuff, but I thought they filmed it really well. Yeah.
So they spend time on that. And then the last 3 days, we are practicing with the talent, and like it's like I said, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. We might put it together twice. So we're sitting there for like 6, 7, 8 hours
just watching, because
they're rehearsing. Okay, we're gonna redo this segment. Okay, Kendrick, let's have you go off this way, and then have Samuel L. pop up this way, or whatever. So in between that, like where I was, since I was in the very front and I'm on the sideline, I'm basically behind the Eagles bench on the sideline, facing the stage right up front.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson's sitting in the chair right next to me.
Oh my God.
So every time, like, he was just sitting there and we were like bullshitting. I didn't ask him anything about like movies or whatever. I was just like, oh, where are you staying? And where are you going after this or whatever. But I got
come with you.
Yeah, but I got to talk to Samuel L. Jackson for a little bit.
That's awesome.
Like when Kendrick came off the stage one of the time during rehearsals, he like dabbed me up, gave me a little fist bump.
Very nice.
What else?
That's great. You got to fist bump with Usher last year too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're always pretty cool, but like you can't go up to them. They have to come up to you.
Right. They're working.
SZA gave us a little like heart thing, to our group, because we were like, cheering for her when she came off.
Her outfit was banging.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we didn't even know about Serena until the very last practice before the Super Bowl.
Sneaky.
Because we were kind of off to the side actually, and they're like, clear away, and this guy kept on like looking over into the tunnel, and I was like, oh, somebody's coming out. But we couldn't figure out, because we've heard the show over and over again. And I'm like, there's no special guest, because there's no part for them to like insert somebody.
Like another.
Because Kendrick's running around and stuff. And we're like, okay, he has this down pat. There ain't nowhere for somebody to like get popped in.
Yeah.
And then she comes out and we're like, oh shit, it's like Serena. So
I loved her outfit. I love Kendrick's outfit. His like fitted jeans, like the flared jeans, so cool. He looked great.
And then one time when we were bringing our cart off of the like out into the tunnels or whatever, Samuel L. Jackson is like walking across the end zone, and we almost ran him over with our cart. We had to like stop it, like we were being timed. We're like,
Sam, get out of the way,
right, Uncle Sam. Yeah, he's like call me Unc.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Yeah, Serena was the surprise guest, like I said. I just thought it was because she used to date Drake, and they have obviously the big rap beef with Drake and Kendrick. But then it went into that more in-depth thing with her doing the sea walk at one of the tennis tournaments, and her getting kind of like shit on by the announcers or whatever.
Yeah, she was like, I'm allowed to do this walk. I'm allowed to do this dance.
But the crazy thing was like with the rap beef, I don't know if anybody else paid attention, but on Twitter, somebody that was friends with Drake or somebody that knew Drake or whatever must have been in the Super Bowl, because we're all no phones. Our phones are locked up in little cases, or you don't bring them at all. You can't take pictures or anything, and they will confiscate your phone and keep it till after the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah. So and then you're banned from any NFL thing for life, basically.
Oh, no.
So
but the weed guys are cool. Just let them roll in here. We don't
but
care.
somebody leaked the set list to Drake's people, and Drake's people put it on Twitter to like
that's
to fuck with them, so. But most people didn't read it, I don't think. I mean, you didn't see it, right?
No, I didn't see it. And he's going to do about 20, 30 seconds of all of his top hits. You already know what he's probably going to sing. You just don't know the order. So that's still fucked up.
Yeah.
But he was like, can't cramp my style.
Yeah.
It's still going to be great.
Let's see. And so that's rehearsals, basically. And if anybody has any more questions, shoot them to me on Instagram or, on my fan page on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll try to answer them. So.
When I explain to people, or when I say, oh, where's Nate? Nate's at the Super Bowl. Oh, he got tickets. How much were those? You didn't get to go. I'm like, no, he's working again. And once I explain, they're just like, what? Anyone can do that? Like, never heard of that.
And I've answered this before, but no, we do not get to see the game. We're in the tunnels and getting prepared. We have an offsite location that we have to meet at, which kind of sucked because I was staying 10 minutes from the stadium. So we had to take a $40 Uber to the offsite location.
But just one time, right?
Yeah, and we shared a ride, so it was like $10 each or something. But so we go there and they feed us, and we just they give us our shirt and our game day credentials, and then they put us on school buses and they bring us into the security area because it's like what's it called? It's like a level something. It's some acronym. Oh. It's a level 1 Homeland Security designated area or whatever, where it's the highest area like possible, even without Trump coming. That's what it is every year.
Wow.
Like, so there's Homeland Security, there's military, there's police, there's drones, there's helicopters, there's like armored vehicles. It's like insane. Like, I saw Trump's car. It's like has all these like cameras and it's like bulletproof and stuff. It's fucking insane. But so they have to bring us all in on buses and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But they said we could leave from the stadium afterwards and just like, walk out into, the Bourbon Street and whatever. They did not think this through well.
Oh.
And we had to go out through where the buses came, which left us on the other side of the stadium. So it took us like 30 minutes to walk around because all the streets are shut down and it's raining and it was terrible. So
I can't believe it rained on Super Bowl day.
Oh, I know. And it was like, it was pouring. And so we were really worried because, we have all of the pieces of the stage in this tent, but then we have to line up and be lined up ahead of time. So that we had to put on ponchos and like we have all these tarps over it and we're trying to roll it with the tarps and not roll over the tarps,
Yeah, it's probably so hard.
Yeah, so
did they not think of that? I mean, they had the tarps.
No, yeah, they thought of it. It just sucked because we're trying to keep the stage dry because you don't want a dancer fucking slipping or Kendrick tripping over something.
No.
So luckily it's like we were out in the rain waiting, and then finally the rain stopped.
Oh, thank God.
So we got to take off the ponchos and then all the tarps and everything like that.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so I barely got to see any of the game. I saw maybe the last 2 minutes from the street because by the time I finally got around,
gotcha.
Yeah, it was already happened.
That's okay. You're seeing the best part of the game.
Yeah, so I'll cover a little bit about the Super Bowl show. Actually, obviously, pretty controversial.
Yeah.
And I called it from when we were rehearsing it. I was like telling my team, I'm like, people are going to read into this. That's a symbolism for that, whatever. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you'll see it. Because I don't know if you remember, I think it was like maybe Beyonce's show when she was wearing like a military style jacket and everybody had a big conspiracy about that or whatever. So I knew this was coming. But obviously, I'm not going to tell you what the symbolism was. You can read into it or read it if you want.
Yeah.
But for those who said that they couldn't understand what he was saying, I will partially agree with you because he was actually rapping.
Yeah.
He was really rapping. A lot of performers have a backing track and they just lip sync. This dude was literally rapping word for word.
Oh, yeah. You could tell because there's obviously swear words and words that would offend people. So he took those out, but he was still so smooth in his delivery.
Oh, totally.
And cutting out those words.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so
my God.
I can understand a little bit, but also if you're not a fan of Kendrick Lamar or you don't know his songs, of course you're not going to be able to understand it. He's a rapper. Yeah. It's like listening to somebody speak Spanish if you don't know Spanish. Yeah. Like you're hearing it, but you're not even taking in the words. You're just trying to like decipher it or whatever.
Right.
He literally has a Pulitzer Prize for spoken word from his album Damn because they like basically said the lyrics were so powerful and so like poetic that they awarded him a Pulitzer Prize. So this guy isn't just some rapper or whatever. Like he's on the top of his game.
Yeah.
So you can love it or hate it if hip hop isn't your thing. I understand.
Care who the Super Bowl is. There's going to be half people that love it and half people that don't. It could be Madonna, it could be Beyonce, it could be Kendrick. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it.
Yeah. So if hip hop isn't your thing, I can completely understand that you maybe didn't like it, but to shit on it just because it's not your thing is kind of lowbrow to me. There's other genres of music that I'm not a fan of, but I can appreciate. This artist has millions and millions of followers and sells millions of records and stuff like that. That's not because they're bad. It's just because that's what they enjoy. And this is what I enjoy. And and everybody doesn't have to agree, but there's no reason to say it's the worst of all time and this and that. Y'all say that every year.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it. I know you can't please everybody, But let's be real, the halftime show isn't for the football fans. It's for other demographic. The NFL is not dumb. It's to get other age groups and demographics and different people that don't normally watch the Super Bowl.
It's about money.
Yeah, that's why they have
views.
That's why they have the opening night of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's for the families that cannot afford. It's another way for them to get money out of these families,
Oh, yeah.
even though it's only $20 a person.
Yeah.
But it's another way for them to make money and open it up to a different audience.
Exactly.
Yeah, so-
Everyone gets to see it some way or another.
Yeah. So let me see what else I can go over with this. How everyone came out of the car. So it was obviously a Grand National GNX, which is the name of his album. It was a real Grand National, which is a pretty rare car. The GNX, pretty rare car. They gutted it.
Oh.
So it was lighter, so they could push it on one of the carts.
Makes
And
sense.
then they put these silver things up all around it, so you couldn't see that they had cut a hole in the bottom.
Oh.
So in the square stage, in the back, there's these 2 holes cut, and then the dancers could go in there, and there's arrows telling them which way to go
Oh
up
my
and come
gosh.
out of the car or come out of the trunk or whatever. So that's how that worked.
That's so fun.
The street lights, they were real working street lights.
Wow.
That were on like this base, and they had, when they got them out to where they were supposed to go, they had to pull them up. And they would raise up, and they have pyrotechnics in them. There was I don't know if you saw it on TV, but there's a guy on each one, like a dancer.
Yeah. How did they get up there? I saw one guy and he's just chilling. The other guy was like leaning forward and hanging out. I'm like, how'd they get up there?
Yeah, they have these little like hand, like the old school telephone poles, like the little thingies. Like, that's how they climb up there.
Crazy.
I already talked about the lights in the stands. I don't know if you noticed, but we lost our minds when they brought out the flags when we were rehearsing.
Yeah.
So one said, I can't remember. It's the name of his record label. It's like I want to say PF Chang's, but it's not. It's like PF Lang or something like that. But yeah, that's one of the flags. And then the other one is a lowercase a, and then it has 2 silhouettes of kids on it. So it's supposed to be A minor.
Oh, I got it.
And let's see
It says like PG Lang Aftermath Entertainment.
Yeah, that's his label. So that's why that was on there. Let's see. SZA and Serena, obviously they were. I'm not saying this is the reason that they were there, but they were both ex-girlfriends of Drake, I guess. So
I didn't know SZA was.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even
they
think
both
about that.
had dated him or something at the time. So that was kind of a little fuck you to him as well. The Gaza guy with the flag that a lot of people see. So he is like some of the media outlets try to make it like, oh, Kendrick's, like he knew about this and this was one of his dancers.
Yeah.
Again, they're hired just like we are,
Yeah.
except for the difference with them is they have to submit a tape to show them that they can dance. So like in their interview or like their application, they have to submit a video saying or showing like themselves dancing. So this is like, they're all just random dudes. It's
Right.
not like his dancers that travel around with him or something.
Gotcha.
So this is just like a lone wolf rogue guy that decided to
Bring
make
Palestinian flag.
just to make a spectacle out of it or
You
whatever.
could tell it wasn't part of the show because
Yeah.
he was in the back, kind of towards the top and up, and it was down quick.
Yeah.
It was like,
Although no, I mean I don't totally agree. I mean that it was quick because he was up on the car for a while
True.
and then he went down and he was running all around and there was just that one stage lady, which I can't remember her name, but
oh
she
my God.
but I think what took a little bit longer than normal was they didn't know if he was part of the show. So the
Oh.
cops and the security there,
They're trying to confirm, like, is this our guy? Is
yeah,
this our guy?
yeah, they're like, is this the guy that we're
Is he supposed to do
yeah,
this?
like so they didn't want to run out there and like tackle him if
Yeah.
he was part of the show
Oh
and
my
if
God,
Kendrick was
legally.
making a statement or something. He was not. This was totally unplanned. It had nothing to do with, Kendrick or anybody. This was just a guy, and he has a TikTok about like the guy that did it has a TikTok about it. Like he's some kind of activist guy or something.
that's
So he
good.
just got involved. I don't know if he got involved to do this or if he was doing this and was like, oh, this is my chance to make a statement for
should say
something I believe
something.
in or whatever.
That would be pretty hard and pretty ballsy to do that. So he's probably never going to be able to work with any of those organizations again, especially the NFL.
Yeah.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah, not a great idea. And also another little Easter egg was Samuel L. Jackson was supposed to pop up at the end in the stands, and they ended up scrapping that. So like we rehearsed that a couple times because he was supposed to be right behind me. I'm like, this is great. I'm gonna have a fucking video like selfie with me and like Samuel L. Jackson and whatever. And then they got rid of it at the last second. I was like,
man.
damn it. Yeah.
I wonder why. They were like too much security or
maybe,
something?
yeah, because the
or-
security was crazy. Like we got the Secret Service came when we were outside, like waiting in line to like bring our carts into
Yeah.
the stadium. Secret Service came by and checked our like wrist because we had a field wristband that said we could be on the field, and then we had game day credentials that said we could be in the stadium.
You brought home like 5 different lanyards of credentials, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
really like.
Yeah, they background check us and everything,
Wow.
but they do that anyway. Like,
Yeah, of
literally
course.
nothing changed with the president being there, other than the Secret Service came and like asked us for our wristbands twice.
Right.
But like the security is always top notch because this is a major American event, and
Yeah.
if something happened, it would make everybody look bad. So it's always very secure.
I think it's amazing that the last few years, nothing, knock on wood, nothing has gone crazy. They must have amazing security and everything's organized. very
Oh
well.
yeah, totally. And then for some other people that were saying, "Well, I'm a rap fan, but I didn't like it," the Dr. Dre, Snoop, that was the shit that I really loved.
People love that one.
Yeah. So you're not a rap fan then if
Yeah.
you don't like Kendrick Lamar. You were a rap fan.
Yeah.
So the difference is those guys were, obviously our generation, but if you listen to current rap,
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar is the new Dr. Dre or the Eminem or whatever. Like he's on top of his game right now.
Yeah,
Like,
these
he's a lyricist.
the
Like he's
the current rappers were influenced by our past rappers that we love and grew up with.
Right.
These are the new generation of rappers. You can't do the same thing that Biggie and Tupac and all them were doing. You
Yeah.
got to change it up.
And if you hate the rap today, you have to read Kendrick's lyrics because the rap today, I agree. There's a lot of rap I don't like today.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
Fuck bitches, get money, shoot them up, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm not going to shit on them say that they're terrible or whatever, because I know people like that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But if you read Kendrick's lyrics, they're very intelligent.
Yeah.
Like he's like considered almost like kind of a genius status with his lyrical writing, so.
Very nice.
So whatever. I mean, I know people don't like that type of music. That's totally fine.
I watched the Super Bowl with your dad because you were gone and your mom was out of town for a couple of days, and he was like, "So, is this genre of music hip hop?"
Hip-Hop Anonymous?
I was like, "Yeah, hip hop, rap, whatever." He's like, "Interesting."
Yeah.
Like he was very open minded, sitting there. I'm trying to explain who Scissor was and spell it for
Yeah.
I completely understand. He's not going to be a Kendrick Lamar fan or understand, all the kind of things that are going on. But he was asking questions and watched it and was like, oh,
Right.
maybe not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll also say, I say this every year, but it's also a concert on television.
Yes.
So that is never going to translate the same to everybody at home
So
watching on
difficult.
their couch or in a bar or something that's loud. Even my favorite artists, like I don't even know let's just say like Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
or whoever your favorite artist is out there.
Yeah.
It's never going to be as good watching it on TV as it is going to the concert.
Right.
It's not.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like I can understand that this sucked or whatever, but there's still like 300 fucking dancers out there choreographed and him
Oh,
running
yeah.
around rapping and popping out of cars and pyro and doing all these different things that
Just all the choreography was
right.
amazing.
Like that's what you have to appreciate. Maybe not, watching a concert on TV, so
We have more of an art background that like we went to
True,
college for
yeah.
it. So maybe we kind of can pick up on that stuff. And you working there helps me know too how much work goes into it. Because you would look at the halftime show and understand, oh my God, that production was insane. I'm sure a
Mhm.
lot of work went into it. But just knowing the ins and outs from you, I'm like, oh my God, I'm exhausted just learning about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you wanted like a rock band or something up there, typically the rock bands are just going to stand there and play guitar
Yeah.
and sing and not really do much moving. So
Yeah.
I think you should try to appreciate people that are being entertainers as well as musicians. So
I was shocked that the NFL picked him, or do they pick the artist, or does the artist have to like apply and say, hey, I want to
no,
be the guy?
and I really can't say exactly how it happens, but the company that does or puts on the production is Rock Nation, which is owned by
Oh,
Jay-Z.
yeah.
So they pick them. So I don't
okay.
know how they do. I mean, I'm sure it's not, I usually would say it's, whoever has a new album coming out or
Yeah.
whoever's big that year.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you why Usher was out there. I mean, but it was great.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you how they pick them. Maybe they ask a couple people and, because
Yeah.
the artist does not get paid. It's
Oh, yeah.
completely for promotion. So they're willing to do this for free every year, whoever it is, because
Wow.
they might have an album coming out,
Yeah.
or they're just trying to boost their Spotify position
yeah.
or something.
I
you
know I was listening to Kendrick like the whole time you were gone, like the whole month before we were listening to him.
Yeah.
So on
Yeah, so-
Amazon. So.
And, I really wasn't super up on Kendrick Lamar either, like when
Yeah.
I first applied, but I took the time to research him, and I read his lyrics, I read his story, I read like what he's done and what he does, and I have a lot more appreciation for it. So I would just say, before you hate on something, maybe go do a little bit of, inner scope on it and see, what this person is really all about and why they are considered a talent,
For sure.
so
For sure.
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. But also I bought some of those Meta Ray-Ban glasses
Oh,
that I
yeah.
wore. So I bought those for the halftime show, ordered them on Amazon to an Amazon box. I rode a trolley there to go pick them up from Whole Foods.
Gosh.
And then the day after the Super Bowl, I returned them because they're like $300.
Yeah. Sorry,
But that
Amazon.
worked out good. But the thing that really pissed me off, so after the Super Bowl, I watched the end of it, I wanted the Chiefs to win, but I'm not like a big Chiefs fan. So it really wasn't,
Yeah.
too much skin off my back or
I
whatever.
mean, I guess the Eagles were the underdog, so they.
Yeah, no, I'm totally happy for Jalen Hurts and everything. I do feel bad for the Chiefs for getting fucking blown out so horribly.
I don't know what happened. Almost for a minute, it looked like they were trying to lose or didn't care that they were losing. They were like, everyone hates us, might as well lose this year or something. I don't know. It just seemed like they almost gave up to me.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't want to get super into it, but everybody has the conspiracy theory that, the NFL is, making it so rigged so the Chiefs. Well, so is it not rigged anymore? Did they just rig it so the Chiefs could get into the Super Bowl
True,
and then be
true.
embarrassed? Like, what would
True.
be the point of that?
Yeah.
That just seems a little ridiculous. But I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. I guess it's not rigged now because
Yeah.
the Eagles won.
Well,
so.
I don't think it's rigged because there's so many people
Right.
involved. There's no way you could keep everyone, even if you're like, guys, I'm giving you all $5 million to never say anything about this Super Bowl being rigged. It would still get out.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
still get out.
But so it's like, if the Chiefs won, people will continue to say the NFL is rigged.
Yeah.
But the Eagles won, so it's not rigged.
It's still rigged.
Yeah,
Or
no,
something.
but it's not because they won. So
Yeah.
saying nobody's saying that now.
Yeah.
So it's just they didn't rig it for the Eagles to win, I guess. So
Right.
whatever.
And it was very obvious they killed it.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got. Oh, so after a game, I wasn't really feeling like doing much. I was just exhausted. Been in the rain. I've been sweating my ass off pushing this cart. So I was just walking through all the craziness. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to the hostel. I'm gonna order a fucking pizza, and I'm just gonna relax.
Yeah.
So I order a pizza, and it's taken like forever. Obviously, and I know the traffic's bad, but
Oh,
my
yeah.
Uber driver is on a bicycle. So I'm like,
Oh.
okay, he can get here if the road is shut down, or he'll just ride his little fucking bicycle. I'm waiting for an hour,
Oh.
and he is 2 blocks away.
Oh. You're like,
And
he's close.
he messages me, and it's kind of in broken English. His name's Jesus, so I can only assume he's Asian. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, bust out your Espanol.
Yeah, so he's like 2 blocks away, and he's like, the traffic too bad, I can't get there, or sorry for the wait. And I was like, it's fine, just let
I'm
me know.
waiting.
I was like, I can come out to Canal Street and meet you, which is like a half a block away.
Yeah.
He was 2 blocks down, and he's like, the traffic is bad. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm out here. Where do you need me to meet you?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my phone. I'm standing out there, and all these Eagle fans are like screaming in my face about something, or about the
my
game. But I'm like, I'm not even. I'm wearing black. I'm not even
Yeah.
wearing a team.
You're like, yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I see on my app, your order has been delivered. And I'm like, motherfucker.
You're like, bro, where are you?
So it's 11 o'clock at night now. I've been waiting for an hour for my fucking pizza. I have no food. I have nothing at the hostel because I've been trying to like eat everything to get rid of like the groceries I bought.
Yeah.
And so I had some trail mix and went to fucking bed.
Oh, you didn't even get your pizza?
No, I got no pizza because I'm like, well, I'm going to order another one and wait another hour, or I have to go out in this craziness and
Well,
try
where
to.
was he? Where'd he go?
I think, so that was the other thing. Oh, sorry. I didn't even finish the story. So the app lets me call the number back, but it like kind of connects you. It doesn't give you the number.
Oh, yeah.
So I do that. And I was like, hey, man, I was like, where's my pizza? Like, I'm still out here on the corner.
I'm hungry.
The guy goes, oh, that my brother uses my number for this, for the account or whatever. Let me call him and see what's up. And he's like, call me back. I'm like, all right, great. I was like, I'm thinking it's this guy. He just ate my fucking pizza.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck this shit. I've been riding my bike for an hour, in this traffic.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping this guy's pizza. So that's why I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. This is that guy. And I call back again, and he goes, yeah, he says he's stuck in traffic. You know, do you want his? I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, forget about it, whatever. And he's like, do you want his number? And I was like, sure.
Sure.
So I message him, and he's like, and this is like maybe 45 minutes after the hour. And so I'm like, there's no way he has my fucking pizza still.
Yeah,
and then he's 2 blocks over, and he's like, yeah, meet me on the side of Popeyes, on 1 street down from Bourbon Street. And so you came into my little brain. And part of me is going like, yeah, I'm just going to go over and get my fucking pizza. But then I was like, no, Nate, your wife would say, do not go meet a strange guy on an alley to go get your pizza. You've already left him a bad review. You've already got refunded your money.
Ooh,
what if he's there to like beat the shit out of me or fucking rob me or something because I gave him a bad review and maybe got him fired or something? Ooh. So he kept on messaging me, and I just fucking ghosted him. And I was like, it's not worth the pizza to get murdered on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm glad you thought of me chiming in. Meet me on the side of Popeyes? Who says that?
I don't
No.
know.
Meet me at Popeyes or by Popeyes. Or I'd be like, I'm inside Popeyes.
Or
Bring me my
ride
pizza.
your fucking bike 2 blocks down here and meet me. Like, if you could get to Popeyes, you could get to me. So
yeah. I'd be
whatever.
like, enjoy my pizza, bro.
Yeah. So never got my pizza. So, yeah.
Probably so hungry.
Yeah. But and the other crazy thing that happened was I was at a merch shop because there was just stuff set up everywhere. People were making hot dogs on the streets.
Ooh.
They were selling merch. They were selling beers out of coolers. Like every hustler in the streets of New Orleans in the French Quarter came out of the woodwork and were slanging shit around.
That's great.
So I go into this merch shop, and I got the koozies that I got for you and my parents, like little souvenirs.
Yeah.
And so, I do that, and then I leave and I walk maybe 2 blocks down the street, and it's insanity around here.
Oh.
And I go and I watch the end of the game in the window of a sports bar, just to see the last 2 minutes. I mean, it was a blowout, so I didn't really care about going in.
Yeah.
And I go to reach in my pocket to message you, and my phone is gone.
Oh no.
And I go, fuck.
Nate's nightmare.
I know. I was like, oh no. So I'm thinking I always have it in my pocket or on me or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be at the merch shop.
Oh my
and
God.
I run back there. Like I'm sprinting down the street. I'm luckily I didn't get tackled by a cop or something. I'm sprinting down the street, and I get to the merch shop, and there's like a pile of the koozies, and my phone was upside down on it. And it was so dark that nobody else could notice it either. And I pick it up because the guy that just like helped me out looks at me, and I pick it up, I show my phone. He goes, holy shit.
Oh
and
my God.
all the guys in there were like, oh, they were like, I can't believe your phone was still there. So I was so fucking lucky. And I'm just thinking of all the
people thought it was a koozie.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about all the pictures and everything that I'd taken the whole trip. I'm like, it's all gone. I've lost everything. Oh my God. I was like losing my mind. So
thank God you found it.
Yeah.
Oh, you never leave your phone anywhere.
No. Well, I had set it down to pick up the koozies, I guess,
Yeah.
and I just didn't think about picking it back up. I'm a fucking idiot. And the last thing I'll talk about with the Super Bowl, I'll just mention a couple of the famous people that I ran into that I thought was interesting. When I was leaving my friend's hotel, I was walking in front of this other hotel, and I see this big fucking dude, and I was like, that's James Harrison from the Steelers.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was just a monster. I was too afraid to like ask him for a picture because I didn't want to be that guy. Being in radio, I kind of know how things are, and I didn't want to be like, hey man, can I get a picture? Like if he was being cool, but he was like mean mugging his phone.
He always looks mean anyway.
Yeah. I was like,
that's just him.
Yeah. I missed this, but a couple of the people in my hostel that were also on my team at the Super Bowl, they were going out to like 5, 6 in the morning every night. I was like, I ain't doing that. Like I would go out to like maybe 2 with them or whatever. They come in I see them the next morning, and they said they were out till 6 a.m. because Lady Gaga set up a piano on Bourbon Street and was playing piano for a fucking for a commercial.
Oh no.
And they were like, we just got a free Lady Gaga concert, like private basically.
I was 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
I would have missed everything. I would have been in bed.
Yeah, right. And then I saw Cardi B.
Oh, nice.
So when I finally got around the stadium, when I was trying to like leave, I was walking by all these crowds of Chiefs fans that were leaving the stadium in like the third quarter because it was a beating.
Who leaves the the Super Bowl, though. Don't leave the Super Bowl.
I don't know. Like, you spend a bunch of money, but also I don't want to see my team get murdered. Like,
I'd be like, I spent $4,000 on this ticket. I'm sitting here for every minute until they kick me out.
Oh my God, maybe, yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd be like, I'm gonna go get some cheaper beers and drown my sorrows.
True.
I don't know.
I'd wait.
But I saw, yeah, I saw a group of people like with their lights up, like around this, like in this circle, and I was like, what the fuck is going on over here? I thought somebody was like breakdancing or something. I walk over there. And this girl starts walking away with these two security guards, and I see her from the back, and she's one of the only celebrities I can recognize from the back, and it was Cardi motherfucking B.
Saw her big booty.
Yeah. And then like I kind of followed her a little bit to her car, like with a bunch of other people, and I was like filming her. But
so funny.
So, yeah, she did a little like she kind of did that, like when she said hi to somebody, she kind of had that like sound. I was like, all right, I heard it. I heard it live.
Yes, that's great.
And then also the last thing was I went to a comedy show, great show. It was Bert Kreischer, Nikki Glazer, and Tony Hinchcliffe, and then Adam Ray. And while at the show, and it was only $25. It was at the University in New Orleans.
That's great.
$25 for like upper deck, but it wasn't full, so we moved like way down low. So we got like really good seats. And so we're watching Bert Kreischer, and so I'm thinking Nikki Glazer's coming up next.
Yeah.
Because they're just going in order of, the set list or whatever. And he's like, hey, I have a buddy stop by if you don't mind. It's my good friend Shane Gillis. And he's like one of my favorite comedians right now. Yes. So I was like, hell yeah. And they all told new like jokes that were new material, but then they also were like reading from their phones. They did some like New Orleans material, which was really funny. Like one of them was like, yeah, New Orleans is the only place that you can eat delicious food and throw it up 3 hours later, and it tastes the same coming up or something like that. But yeah, really funny. So then Nikki Glazer comes out, then Tony Hinchcliffe, which I used to like him. His stuff, it got a little political. And I was just like, we're just here to laugh. He was the only one that made everything political. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, let's just keep it like on the up
keep
and
it
up,
light.
whatever. And then the last one is Adam Ray. And I've seen him before because he opened up for Adam Devine when we were in Orlando like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
he was like the opener for him, and now he does like he does a good Biden impression. He does like a good Dr. Phil. He does like the fake hair and everything like that. So I was like, I've seen him before. I was telling Angie, I was like, let's get out of here so we can beat the traffic and get a ride or get the bus out of here in time.
Yeah.
I find out later. I talked to a guy the next day.
Cardi B was there.
No. She was on
stand-up.
bourbon though.
Oh, shit.
The next day, I was talking to a guy. He goes, "Oh yeah, man, Adam Devine came out and he did a little set, and then
You're twinsy.
yeah, and then Tyreek Hill came and they did like a slap contest on Bert's belly, and I was like, oh, I was like, I missed the whole thing. I was so pissed. I was so pissed. Oh man,
That's your twin. Oh
I
my
know,
gosh, you missed him.
Yeah. So but all in all, it was a great time, great experience. Whatever you think about the halftime show or the game or whatever, it's still just a fun thing to be a part of, and I'm super appreciative that I can do it. So,
because we'll never be able to buy tickets to go to the Super Bowl or want to spend that much money.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's Steelers versus Steelers. I'm not paying $4,000 a seat or whatever.
But I would say if you are a fan of a team in the Super Bowl, even if you don't have tickets, go to the city.
Yeah.
Because there's so much other shit to do.
Yeah.
There's meet and greets, and there's events, and there's parades, and there's just like fun things to do around your team. So I would say just go anyway. It's in Santa Clara next year in California. Even if you're not going to the game, it's definitely worth just going to the city and feel the fucking energy there.
I remember when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta, and I mean, you were on the radio, and that was your first Super Bowl you worked.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to so many things, not even through the radio. You got to go to all the events.
And they have concerts there and stuff. Yeah,
it was so great.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of, I know this was a lot about what I've done, but we'll get to one of your things, and then next week we'll talk about some of the other stuff in New Orleans and some of the other stuff you dealt with while you were here. But one of the major things that happened when you're here, you want to go and
pick her up.
I got her.
Pick up our special guest. So we are currently watching for a week our family friend's dog, Rizzy. This is Rizzy, Miss Rizzy. Hi. She's such a sweet little chihuahua. She's 13 and a half. sassy as can be.
Yes.
I'm in love with her.
She's a good little girl.
She gave me a heart attack. So like the first night, it's your actually Iowa family friends.
Right.
They're staying in Playa del Carmen, and the first night they're leaving early the next morning to go to an all-inclusive that's a little bit north of us. I don't know how far, like an hour away?
Yeah, I think
maybe?
so.
About an hour. So I get her the first night, and she's not doing good. She's breathing heavy. She's like panting. So I don't know if she was just scared that her mom wasn't here or what was going on. I don't know. The power went out too at like 3 a.m, so that might have freaked her out. So I have to take her. I rush her to our vet, Sanimal vet, like to actually see what's going on. I waited kind of till midday to see, like maybe she's just nervous. We'll calm her down. No, she's just sitting here going, like, I'm like, you're going to have a heart attack. You sound much better now.
Yeah, there's that, Brad.
Kind of sounds like Tiger was giving me a little Tiger PTSD about the breathing, not breathing so well. So I take her there. They do all sorts of tests, x-rays and ultrasound and all the things that they do. Super affordable also. They're like, she's okay. She's just older and she's having some breathing issues. So her stomach was like full of air. I thought she was kind of like not able to go to the bathroom. But her stomach was bulging out because she was panting so hard. She's just sucking in all this air and not getting it out.
Right.
So they gave her some medications to help. So funny. This little tiny 5-pound chihuahua's walking around our place belching like a man.
Oh my God.
She's just like, buh, 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 buh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Riz.
Thankful. The mom and dad are very thankful that I knew what to do, and I'm thankful that I knew what to do and how to get there. I'm thankful that we've been through this before, so I knew what to look out for.
Well, and you weren't feeling the greatest yourself at the time, and you're like, what do I do? Like, is she okay? Or whatever. And I was like, you should, just from what we've experienced, I was like, you should get her in because we know how it is trying to find a vet after hours. Yeah. So luckily, you were able to get her in right away and get it taken care of.
They told me too. I don't even think the overnight vet that we took Tiger to when he was passing, I don't even think they're open anymore because he told me the closest emergency vet 24/7 was in Cancun. Ooh. So he's like, if there's an emergency, once we close at 6 o'clock, you need to book it to Cancun, which is like a 45-minute taxi ride.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's not going to be quick at all.
No.
So Sanimal is the best. They got her all fixed up. She was fine that night. Next day, like every day she's progressing, getting much better.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but scared the shit out of me. I was like, not on my watch.
Yeah, not today, Satan.
Not today. No.
Oh, well.
So
good job.
She's been a delight.
Yeah, so, well, that's basically the Super Bowl stuff. I will talk more about different things I did in New Orleans and in Louisiana. I visited the Tabasco factory. We went to a bunch of different parades. I'll talk more about the crazy shit that went on in the hostel. Yeah. You have a lot of weird things that happened in Mexico here, of course, when I was gone.
It was not a peaceful 2 weeks. No. Things were going down.
Oh, shit.
It's okay.
All right. Well, again, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
I love you. But don't forget to support the podcast. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus, where you can buy some virtual beers. Head to hansonsonhiatus.com. You can become a monthly fucky supporter. If you're enjoying the podcast, we got our merch shop up there. You have a bunch of like 100 episode merchandise.
100th episode Hansons on Hiatus podcast designs. We got Valentine's designs up there for cat lovers, dog lovers, beer lovers, everyone in between, all sorts of things.
Let us know if you got any designs you want. We'll put some squirrel lovers up there, some hamsters, whatever you got.
I got it from the cat people. They were like, we love dogs, but where are the cats? So we'll always have cat merch now.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So thank you so much for the support.
Yes,
we really appreciate it. 100 episodes. What was it like? Somebody told you like the top something percent episodes don't make it past 9 or something?
Podcasts, like if you can make it to your 100th episode, that's amazing. It's like the top 1% only get past like 20 some episodes of a podcast. I think I probably butchered that, but
no, I mean, I think that sounds about right. So.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. So our friends were giving us, pats on the back, good
but
job.
We couldn't have done it without you guys. All little fuckies, big fuckies, medium fuckies,
friends, family,
the free fuckies. We love you too. Thank you so much.
We love our fuckies.
Yes, but like, follow, share, subscribe. Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, YouTube Music at Hansons on Hiatus. Hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day, great weekend, And happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.